Hey guys, Cool Brains here, and welcome back to another video as always. Today I'm going to be talking about the Siemens SC-44 Charger locomotive for the What Is This Locomotive series. So anyways, let's start. So this whole charger business started when in 2016, Amtrak wanted to get some new locomotives designed to replace their F-59 PHI locomotives and their P-42 DC locomotives. That locomotive would be the ALC-42, a long-distance / corridor passenger locomotive. But while it was being built, Amtrak wanted a fill-in, so they got some SC-44 Charger locomotives from the same company who was building the ALC-42, which is Siemens. The SC-44 Charger would be first on Amtrak Midwest services, but soon they would come to the Amtrak Cascades route, and they would also come to the Amtrak Pacific Surfliner route. Since the SC-44 Chargers were not on the East Coast, and they could not do long distance routes yet, the P-40s and P-42s still did the long distance routes and worked in the East with the ACS-64s, which is only on the Northeast Corridor, and the Acela train sets and the rather new Avelia Liberty. The SC-44s also had LED ditch lights like the Siemens ACS-64, and they also had gram white E-bells like a few other locomotives. They also had a rather new K5LA horn like the ACS-64s. I'll show you some samples of both the horns and bells at the end of this video. Amtrak was not the only ones buying the SC-44. A few other commuter rail companies, one on the East Coast, which is MARC, bought the SC-44 Chargers too. They were going to replace the rather old fleet of locomotives from a few years ago. The Altamont Commuter Express, or ACE, were going to replace their F40PH 3C locomotives, definitely not the MBTA ones. And MARC was going to replace their HHP-8s, which were rather unreliable. Not to mention, Amtrak retired their whole fleet of HHP-8s for the same reason as MARC. But instead of rebuilding their HHP-8s like MARC did, Amtrak instead put them at the Wilmington Bear shops and used them for parts. Another side note is that the MARC rebuilt HHP-8s were going to be working with their replacement, the SC-44 Chargers. Back to Amtrak, their Chargers were all painted into different schemes, such as the Pacific Surfliner scheme, the Cascade scheme, the Amtrak Midwest scheme, and the Caltrans scheme. One thing is that many rail fans don't really like the SC-44 and call them ugly. Other than that, the SC-44 Charger locomotive took many locomotives' role, and some locomotives are still in service. Some of them are rebuilt. Some of them might be scrapped or retired soon. And some of the locomotives have been sent to other railroad companies. Well, that's pretty much all about the SC-44 locomotive, since it's quite new and there's not much history about it. But yeah, now let's get on to the bells and horns samples. Well, now that we got that done, that's pretty much all about the SC-44 Chargers. And yeah, that's all for now, and see you in the next video as always.